Good afternoon. My name is Dawn Campbell, Director of the IAPC&M, and I'm also responsible for sales and marketing, which is why we had the initiative of creating a co-authored book. And I'm here today with Adele McCormack. Good afternoon, Adele.
Hi, good afternoon.
So Adele is not only our Head of Professional Standards, she is also a generalist coach dealing specifically with women who want to break through glass ceilings and always achieve 10% more. So Adele, tell us a little bit about your story. What brought you to the point where you are today?
So I suppose it started really, I'd originally trained as a counsellor, and I worked as a counsellor for people with drug and alcohol problems, and moved into mental health, trained as a social worker. I was doing all of those things, and I always just felt like and there was that something else that was needed, and I've always been a very optimistic person, so for me counselling didn't necessarily suit me because it sort of it felt like, because you're going into the past with people, it just didn't kind of suit my style, whereas I was always about like, what can you achieve and how can you move forwards, and then I stumbled across coaching, and I thought, I'll give that a try. And actually through the training that I did, doing reciprocal coaching with other people, I had so many light bulb moments about my own life, that actually during that process of doing the reciprocal coaching, I ran a marathon. I've now ran two. I've flown a plane. I got promotion at work. I quit smoking. The list is endless of things that I, just by really thinking about, stuff that had held me back in the past. And so that's really where I am, living, breathing, celebrating what I've achieved through coaching, and then hoping to do that for other people. And particularly, I've now got two young daughters, and I heard somebody say to me, I won't be able to have the job that I want because I've now got children. And for me, that's absolutely rubbish. I mean, I was on maternity leave with my first daughter and got promoted, and maternity leave with my second daughter, I've written a chapter in a book. So anything's possible is what I say.
Excellent. Well, there are many reasons why people write a book. What were your reasons for contributing to the first IAPC&M co-authored book?
It's been a long-held ambition of mine. I always have a bucket list that sort of lives in my life, and I write a list of things that I want to achieve, and then I don't think about how it's going to happen. I just put the the thought out there. That's what I want to do, and I have my list. And I was sitting there thinking, I really want to write a book. And it was like the universe had listened, because all of a sudden, up popped, here's an opportunity to be part of a book. And I thought, what a really good way to start in my sort of venture of author activities, is actually do it with a group of people, because you're holding each other to account, and that's one of the difficult things. If you were doing it by yourself, you are your own coach, and your own, so actually it was being responsible to other people was really good, but it gives me a massive tick on my bucket list.
Excellent. So what were some of the challenges that you faced while you were finding the discipline of writing, and what insights did you learn about yourself?
I think, there is the benefits of writing with other people, but then also, when we first all met together, I did get this sense of, oh my God, they're all so much better than me. And yet they were all lovely. And it was just kind of like, oh my, what if my chapter doesn't live up to everybody else's? And I think, that's the kind of thing that holds us back in life anyway, which is the reason why people hire coaches. It's just that sort of imposter syndrome of, I'm not going to be any good at this, and shall I pull out? And then I didn't find it difficult to put my thoughts down, because I'll share a tip that I got into writing articles a while back, and the best advice somebody gave to me was, just write and don't stop. Don't think about whether it makes sense. You've got to get familiar with writing. So I went on holiday once, and I just set myself 10 minutes every day, which is what she said, pen and a notebook, and you just write. Even if you start writing, I don't know what to write, 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 but you just keep doing that, because it's about connecting your thoughts with your pen or your keyboard, for example. So I didn't have a problem putting it all down. It was then trying to work out how to organize it and and so there's been many iterations, but actually having some really good people around, which were some of the other co-authors, and sort of us all making an agreement to read and be sort of be the critical friend around you know, around the chapters. So if you've made a point, have you made the point too many times? That's one of my things that I do, is I labour a point far too much, and you know, it's all right, we've got it, Adele, we've got it. um, so that was really helpful, because I think sometimes when you're so in it and reading writing something and focusing on something a lot, you can get to the point where you can't really see the wood for the trees. And so it's always important, step back, go for a walk, clear your head, leave it for a few days, ask other people to read it, because there was times that I would leave it for a week and I would go back and I was like, did I really write this? and sometimes that was a very positive, oh, I've really written this. And sometimes it's like, oh, I've written that. And just sort of changing that around. So, you know, it's sort of like you're going to have good days and bad days with writing, and it's about not letting the bad days hold you back, because round the corner is going to be a really good day with it. So that was
it sounded like Natalie Goldberg, who was saying, write for 10 minutes every day. Just let the energy flow from your brain through your arm to the pen, and do not stop. Even if you're right, I am writing nothing, but I am writing. I'm writing nothing, but I'm writing. Eventually some thoughts will come into place, and then away you go. So
absolutely.
What are some of the nuggets that listeners today can read about when they read your chapter then, Adele? Because obviously the book is called How to Win Clients and Keep Them. So that in itself is a very key subject, bearing in mind the target market is SMEs. So what are some of the nuggets that you've put in there for us?
So, I mean, again, this is about, and it's kind of sort of the process of writing, it's just about trusting yourself. That's a big thing. I think that we kind of lose sight of, particularly if you're setting up a business and you're trying to win customers, you're trying to win clients, you're trying to get people to buy into you and buy a service off you, is that actually we lose sight of who we are as people. So we stop being ourselves, and I certainly, they were some that I share in my chapter, some of those lessons of how I kind of lost myself along the way. And you know, and I do, and it pains me, but I do actually share some of my earliest iterations of my website, and it made me feel a little bit shaky putting them in there, but it was kind of for the purposes of the reader and to understand a place of where I started and the difference of writing what you think you should write and actually being true to yourself. So I spend quite a bit of time talking about trying to really find who you are in the business, and who you are and what you're and being true to yourself, and just and in a way, and I do talk about the writing exercise, because actually when you're writing your thoughts, and you're not writing from an academic perspective, or you know, you actually start to allow yourself to come forwards. And the most engaging, the best ways to engage somebody, particularly if they're just reading your you know, your written word or your website or whatever, or even listening, you know, watching videos that you're doing, is actually they need to connect with you, because essentially they're going to be buying a service off you, and they want to be able to know that you're the person that they can trust with themselves and their life. And if they can't get that sense of rapport from that first time they meet you, they're not going to book you. So, you know, and I think about, you know, just it's that very exercise of, like, you know, say for example you're looking to join a gym, and you look on the, you know, do a Google search for gyms in your area, and think about what stands out for you about the gyms that you're looking at, what draws you in, and think about that in terms of how you've connected with something. When is it that you've trusted something to part with money? And think about those elements, because actually if you apply that to your business, you're going to get the same kind of clients. And the other bit to sort of remember for people is actually it's not about getting every client. You're never going to suit everybody. But if you're a solopreneur and you're going to be, you know, your own boss, the reason why people do this is so that they can have a better work work environment and a work life. So you want to attract the clients that are suited to you, the clients that you're sort of really passionate and excited about working with, because when you sort of get up every day and you go, yes, I've got this client today, or I've got that client today, and I'm really excited to hear how they're going, that infectious energy will play out in your clients. And so this gives you the longevity with your clients. And even if it your client only needs you for a bit, that word of mouth sort of promotion that you'll get for other clients, I mean, it becomes a ripple effect. So it is always about, you've got to be at your best, because if you're not happy in your work and you've got clients that you're not connecting to, and you're not going to do them any favors, and you're not going to deliver the best service to them, which means the sustainability of your business is going to be quite minimal. You're not going to enjoy work. It's going to be harder to get clients on a longer term, because you're going to have to be marketing all the time, whereas really successful coaches have got word of mouth, because you've done such a good job that they then tell all their friends about it, and then they tell their friends. So, and the only way you can do that is by being yourself, because if you try and put a facade up of like, I now need to, to win big business clients, I need to be very sort of straight and professional, and and maybe not and perfect. Yeah, there's only so long you can maintain that facade, actually. So I just, and I mean, it is easier said than done, because I'm just like, just be yourself. I mean, that's the fundamental principle of the chapter. But actually it is really hard, especially if you're sort of nervous and anxious about your new business, and if there's a lot riding on it as well. We tend to overthink these things, and actually it's about stripping it back to basics and just being yourself with it.
I think you're absolutely right, Adele, and that's why I loved your chapter about authenticity breeds trust, and that brings in clients, because with all this technology, people still buy people. If they don't gravitate towards you, if they don't go away after a session where, wow, my coach really got me, I want another session, then all you've got is an expensive hobby. You don't have a sustainable business. And as you say, you spend all your time filling up your pipeline with them all dropping out the bottom. Because clients, if you're going to have a relationship with your clients, they will come back time and time again. For new issues, or you've just got transitional customers who buy on price and don't really care what you like, they just want one issue sorted out. You can't build a business that way. So it's really important chapter. So thank you for sharing. Your passion comes through for sure. So what can readers expect next? Because I know from talking to some of the other authors, they're all like, I'm going to write a whole big grown-up book of my own now. So what plans have you got, Adele?
I'd love the idea of writing a big grown-up book. It's probably not completely me to be completely grown up, and but I do enjoy blogging, and I quite often feature in the Huffington Post. So I will continue to do things like that until something. I can't write about anything unless it sort of really gets me going, and this book certainly did, and my little blogs that I do from time to time, they I kind of think I'll put something out there when I've got something to say. I have always had a big dream of writing a novel, but I have there's no plot, there's no characters, so I've got no substance for this novel, but it's on the bucket list, so it may be something you'll see in the future.
Well, as a lady who goes for 100% all the time, I'm sure it'll come out in future. So we'll watch this space. How can people contact you, Adele, if they want to find out more, either about your role as Head of Professional Standards and CPD, or you personally as a coach?
Okay, so probably, I have my own website, which is northhousecoaching.com. Just click onto that. Contact details are on there. You can go through a contact form at the bottom. But I'm also contactable through the IAPC&M. So go on to their website, and I'm in the team for the Head of Professional Standards. And so you can get me through on that email. So whether it's about coaching or professional standards or all of the above, either way, it'll come to me. So.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure as always. And we look forward to reading your novel in the far distant future. In the meantime, anybody looking to attract new business, win clients and keep them, we'll put the link to the order book page for the early bird people who can't wait for it to come out. And of course, there'll be the accompanying workbook for the exercises to go with it. So thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your time, Adele.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.